boys and girls, students of Buddhist Sunday School, parents, grandparents, and teachers of Buddhist Sunday School. Good morning. May you all be well and peaceful. We are going to have another Aesop's Fable with moral lessons for you. The Aesop's Fable is titled The Old Lion and the Fox. I think most of you have not heard this Aesop's Fable. We are going to go over the story. I will read the story and explain to you the Aesop's Fable. And then at the end, we will discuss the important moral lessons that we can learn from this Aesop's Fable. So as usual, we will launch the PowerPoint now. You can see the cover slide. You know, Aesop's fables are very well known, and they are short stories which usually deal with animals. And these Aesop's fables have very good life lessons or moral lessons that we can learn and apply in our daily life. So in this way, we will grow to be more happy, more peaceful, and more wise in living our life, right? So now this story, as usual, will have some animals. So the animals involved include, right, the lion, of course, you know, and then a fox, right, and then a few other animals. But these are the two main characters, right? So we will go on to the story. Now, I think it's not necessary to see my video now, so I will stop the video. So let us go on to the next slide. Now here you can see the cover slide also, and the sound, the very loud sound, is actually a lion's roar. That's the sound made by a lion. And the lion, you know, is known as the king of the beasts. Right in the jungle, the lion is the king of the beasts. And all the other animals are quite afraid of this lion, including the elephants, right? So they actually pay respect. That is the lion. So the old lion and the fox. Now, you know what the sound of a lion's roar is. So now we will go to the story. So majestic, the lion. Now, of course, you have heard many stories involving a lion, like the lion, the famous one in Aesop's Fable that you have heard is the lion and the mouse, isn't it? And of course, there are stories where the lion is kind-hearted, very well respected. It helps people. But there are also stories where the lion can show not so good character also, all sorts. So let us read the story. Once upon a time, an old lion whose teeth and claws were so worn that it was not so easy for him to get food as in his younger days, and he pretended that he was sick. Now, you know, all living things will grow old, isn't it? So likewise for the animals, apart from human beings, plants, animals also will grow old. That is a fact of life. And when the lion grew old, as usual, you expect the teeth will not be so strong already, right? And they'll be weaker lah. And the claws, you see at the paws, or you can see the feet there, you have this very, very sharp claws, that can tear the animals that the lion is feeding on. So, and then of course he will lose his strength as he gets older. So it was not so easy for him to get food already. He could not run as fast already, right? Weaker already. So he thought of a way, right? And you know what did he do? He pretended that he was sick. So in actual fact, he was not really sick, like he was old, but he had certain things in the mind, right? Let us see what he did, right? Now, one day, the lion announced he was sick. He let out a feeble roar that summoned all the animals to his dead bed to pay their last respects. Then he slowly turned and entered his cave. Now, the lion lived in a cave. Now, you can see this animation here, an idea of what a cave is like, the lair of or the home of the lion. So I told you he had a plan already. So what did he do? Came out of his cave. He announced he was sick. Now, in Aesop's fables, as you know, the animals could talk, right? Could speak. So he made a roar, but not as loud as usual, because he pretended to be sick, isn't it? But it was loud enough. A feeble means a weak, a weak roar. Just now you heard the first slide or the second slide, the lion's roar. That was very, very loud. But this one was a very, very weak roar. And he announced that he was sick and dying in his cave. So he asked, he commanded, he summoned, he said, all animals, you must come to my dead bed. You say you will be lying there, and you have to pay your last respects before I pass away. Now, just as human beings also, especially, when people in the family are dying and so on. So they will go and see that dying person to pay the respect, right, and so on. So he was like that. And then after having announced that he was sick, what did he do? He turned and entered his cave again, right? Of course, he came out to announce, isn't it? That's like this, you can see the animation. So he went back, right? And then he was lying down, I see, like very weak and very sick, waiting for the animals to come, So let us see what happens next. A goat came and entered the cave. So now this, a kambing, goat, and then also a sheep. So the sheep also came and entered into the cave. And then a duck came. You can see the duck here. So both of the animals, the sheep and the duck, apart from the goat that went in already, also entered into the cave already. There were other animals that came also. I gave another two examples. A rabbit and a deer, right? A rabbit and a deer. So of course, there were a few other animals also. So they went in. And of course, you could see here the ground, the soil there. So as the animals walk into the cave, they make the footprints, right? The prints of the leg, right? Going in, isn't it? So let us go on, right? So now imagine the animals all in the cave already, leaving behind their footprints. So something happened inside the cave. So after some time inside the cave already, the old lion came out, right? Was very, very quiet in the cave inside already. So the old lion came out to the mouth of his cave, the opening, or you could say the doorway, right? That's the mouth of the cave, the opening for the animals to go in and come out. So you could see here some footprints of the animals that had gone in. He yawned, as if like very sleepy after taking the food, sometimes you yawn. And what did the lion notice? He noticed a fox, and this fox had been waiting outside, right outside of the cave. The fox did not go in, it just was at a distance away. And in fact, the fox was very cautious. The fox was very cautious about entering the cave. After you see why, that he did not enter just as the other animals did. He was actually standing, or maybe you could say sitting also, at a safe distance from the cave, not so close to the entrance of the cave. And I told you, the old lion came out already, isn't it? So the fox, excuse me, the fox inquired politely after the lion's health. Now, I told you the lion is regarded as the king of the beasts. So this fox was very, very polite, and he started to talk to the lion, the king of the beasts. Here you can see a lion, right? And then the fox. So what happens next? So the fox noticed this, that the lion was looking at him with a very hungry look, not so friendly look, not a look of metta. The fox actually was suspicious already. It was very, very suspicious. Right? He actually did not trust the lion. He did not trust the lion. So when the lion saw him outside, so the lion, right, told him or said to him, "Thank you, fox, for asking about my health." But just now I told you, the fox greeted the lion, isn't it? Probably you would say, "Your Majesty, good morning. How are you? Are you well?" Probably the fox would have said something like this. That's why the lion replied, "I have been ill for some time. Why don't you come inside my cave home? Perhaps we can have a drink over a chat." So that was what the lion told the fox. The lion actually invited the fox to go into his home. And he told the fox, maybe you can yum cha lah, and we can have a chit-chatting lah. But the fox said, "No, thank you, Your Majesty. I will tell you why I won't enter your home." Now, of course, the fox was at a distance, so he did not get too near the lion, right? He did not trust the lion, so he did not get too near. So he refused the invitation. He declined, and he said, "I will tell you lah why I won't enter your home." So let us see what happens. Did the fox die? What happened actually? So we go to the next slide. So Now, this fox was wise, cautious, right? And he told the lion, what did he tell the lion? Your Majesty, I should be glad and honored to accept your invitation and go into your cave home. Just now I told you the lion invited the fox, isn't it? So he was very polite. He said, I should be actually happy and feel honored that you invited me to go into your home to have a drink, minum kopi and chit-chatting. But actually I had this thought in my mind. So the fox told the lion, I had this thinking in my mind. I have noticed that there are many footprints of animals leading into your cave and none coming out. Now, so the fox told the lion that he noticed there were footprints of animals, different types of animals that would make different types of footprints in it. Because these animals had come earlier and they went into the cave already. But then he said, but I did not see any footprints of animals coming out. No animal had come out. And probably he also told the lion, so quiet, inside the cave so quiet, no animal sound at all. So then the frog continued, pray tell me, how do your visitors find their way out again? Right? No footprints coming out. So the fox asked the lion, how did the visitors come out again? Went in already, did not come out. So the fox knew already. All my poor friends who had entered your cave home are dead now. You killed them all. Oh, so the fox was quite smart, wiser. He deduced that the animals that went in earlier had been killed by the king of the beasts, the lion, right? So after saying this, the lion, of course, heard this already. So the fox was very wise. He quickly ran off as fast as he could. And the fox, could run very, very fast. He was afraid the lion might pounce on him, isn't he? So after having said, you kill them all, so the lion, of course, probably would not be happy already. He would want to kill the fox immediately because the fox would not go into the cave already, isn't it? So he might pounce, of course, he was a distance, but still there was this danger to his life, isn't it? So he quickly ran for his life as fast as possible. So the lion also not so strong already, so did not chase after the fox. And actually, it was true that the lion had killed all the other animals in the cave. Of course, maybe he ate some, but it was some he did not eat, just lying around. So you could see that the lion killed the other poor animals. Whereas he had announced to them that he was dying and asking them to just come and pay the respect. But actually the mind was thinking of something else, isn't it? But this fox, he was smart. So he managed to escape with his life because he was wise and cautious, careful, right? So there is this very short Aesop's fable about the old lion and the fox. Very, very simple story, but important lessons we can learn. And we are going to look at the important moral lessons, which actually is the most important part of the presentation, to learn important things. And there are Dhamma teachings in the moral lessons we are going to discuss. So let us go to the next slide. This is the end slide. So there are three important moral lessons I'm going to discuss with you based on the story, right? Based on the story. The first one, beware of people who lie and cheat with the intention to harm you. Just like the story. The lion actually had planned already, right? Had this idea of lying and cheating the other animals, pretending to be sick. Of course, he was old, but he pretended to be sick and he lied, isn't it? He did not tell the truth. He said that he was dying and he asked them to come and pay respect. But actually, what was his intention? His intention was to kill them. Of course, you eat a few and then maybe you keep a few for another day or a few more days. But anyway, that is a very terrible thing, isn't it? So in the world today, we have people who are not honest, who break their precept. Lying is the moral precept, the fourth precept that you chant in Sunday school, isn't it? Musawada, Veramani, Sikkhapadam, Samadhiyami. I take the precept of not lying, right? And cheating also lah. Actually, he told the lie and he cheated because he wanted to do something unwholesome, something bad. So people who lie and then cheat because they want something, maybe they want to con you of your money, to lead you astray, so you have to be very careful. Now you have a lot of people like that. You have heard of kidnappers. You have heard of bad man, not bad man, evil man who lie to children, right? They come, little girl, I will bring you to McDonald's to buy something for you to eat, and then also I will buy ice cream for you. Come, you follow, right? So you must be careful. You don't know that person. You don't trust that person. So you don't follow, isn't it? So when I ask this question to my preschool students, right, or some little ones, 3 or 4 years old, yes, I will go because I can get the Kentucky or I can get the ice cream. Oh, then but others are a bit smart. No, 不要跟那个人. I don't want to follow that person because I don't know him. Yeah, dangerous. You have all types of children also, So that's why you hear of cases also of children missing, lost, right? So people have harmed these children. And likewise, even older people, adults, educated ones also get cheated. You have what we call a scam, right? People phone or maybe send a WhatsApp or whatever, telling, lying, all sorts of things, saying that, good news for you, you have struck a prize and so on, all the nonsense, and they have their different ways, So there are some people, including so-called educated ones, and then they trust the other fella, the con man. It could be a Nigerian or could be, a person from another country, and these poor victims, they will go to the bank and draw the money and give them, and some lose 20, 30, 40,000, It's unbelievable. So you have to be very, very careful, right? The world is filled with people who are very greedy, who are covetous. That means they want certain things from you, right? So young ladies also get cheated and molested, all right? And then children, and even adult men also. So be very careful. Now let's go to the second moral lesson and the Dhamma points. Before believing or trusting the words of someone, you must always investigate and think wisely and smartly to check the truth. Now you find this lying is a terrible thing. And people who lie and cheat, they have this bad intention of getting something, right? Some, cheat poor old ladies, they say, "Ayo, auntie, you are having a very, very bad luck, I see your face, right, that you have been charmed, the old spirits have entered into you already." Wow, so these poor, naive, old ladies get very scared, all right? You see, and then of course sometimes they show some tricks, This con men show some tricks to the old ladies. Old ladies believe that they have powers. They could see into the mind. So, the auntie will tell the fella, the con man, wow, because the con man show some tricks, like, see, right? I have this power, I put a stone into the water and the water turns red. Wow, you have this power. Yeah, I also could do this. I have done this using chemistry. All these are ways to cheat. So the poor old lady trusts the man already, right? So say, "Never mind, don't worry, auntie. I can do something, right? And confirm with you that, that you have been charmed." So, they do all sorts of tricks. They take out, a bowl of water. They ask the old lady, you spit into it. You spit into the water. If there is nothing, then the water will not change color. So the old lady spit into it. Really a change, And then he takes another bowl and then he spit into it. He says, "You see, nothing happens because I'm not charmed, but you have been charmed. The spirit is inside you." All sorts of tricks. I've taught these sort of lessons in the school Buddhist society to show them there are many ways you can cheat people. So what happens? The poor old lady says, "Oh, what can I do?" I said, "Don't worry. I will sell you something you put in your angkong altar at home, and then you'll be safe." So this poor old lady, what happens? She goes to the bank, takes out a lot of money, transfers the money to the con man, right? So what you should do, you must always think carefully, right? You have to think, is this fella telling the truth? Sometimes you can't tell, they look so honest, you can't really tell what is in the mind, right? And then maybe you say, "I will, ask another family member, can you come to my place or what?" You find this comment, they are very scared to leave you, also like this. So all you best, you ignore them, you don't know them, you don't bother, just walk away. Always investigate. Ask further questions, you can find they are cheating. So that's the second message or the moral lesson, right? You actually have to be careful of whom you trust. Right? So even in Buddhism, in the religion, there are some people who are not actually teaching the good, correct Dhamma, no. Right? They tell things which are not the truth. They say, "Oh, you must do this, do that, burn a lot of paper so that you'll be healthy," all this. Just don't believe, but you have to investigate, maybe find out from good monks or some teachers or your parents and so on. Don't let them con you. Some children are very naive. This teacher tries to influence them. You cannot eat this, you cannot eat that, right? Otherwise, next time you will go to hell. All these things, and these poor children, so innocent, they believe, believe and get a fear. You must always have a very critical mind. And that's why it's good to go to Buddhist Sunday School, learn the Dhamma, so you know what is the truth and you know how to think, right? And then you know how to check, investigate, reason out. So all this comes through learning, through education. Otherwise, very easily you can be cheated. Now let's go to the third one. Now, just now you saw in the story, the old lion and the fox. That the fox was different from the other animals. In this case here, the fox was the smart, wise, right, animal. In other cases, the fox would play a bad role, the fox would cheat the other animals, right? The fox would do something bad. So you find Different stories have different animals playing different roles. So among the animals also you have all types, isn't it? There are some, right, that are good. There are some lions that are very good, helpful, of good character. There are some not so. Just as I remember when I used to have dogs, different characters though. Some dogs are very well behaved, obedient, helpful, and then very likable. Others are wow, fierce, will go out and fight, and then they'll be greedy and so on. So you see, animals also have different characters. Just as human beings, right? So we must just not take from this story that all lions are bad, all foxes are good. No, it's not like that. It's just a story, right? But the point is, in the world, you have all sorts of people. So you must associate with the good and wise ones and not the bad, the fools. So that is important. So the fox, as you saw or heard in the story, he was very attentive, isn't it? He paid attention. He did not just charge into the cave, right? Because if you were to go into the cave, the lion will immediately follow him into the cave, and that's the end already. Lion is the king of the beast. You cannot challenge the player in a fight with the claws, even though weaker, but still can kill you. So must be attentive, observant, right? That means we must know what is in the environment, and the mind must be always alert. If you are very blur, bong bong, gong tai tai type, invite me, I'm cha. I'm good, I go in, you are not being observant and attentive and careful. And you are not mindful to know what is the environment like. Pay attention, what you see, what you hear, study the body language of the lion, then you would know and you'll be careful, isn't it? So the mind must be trained to be like that, always attentive. But today, sad to say, many young ones, they are not attentive in class, right? The mind is not alert, they sleep in class, right? And they don't observe things, right? There are notices. I remember the students I had in secondary classes, for the guidance classes at our association. I put up notices when you can apply for the guidance classes and so on. They are not alert, they are not mindful, they don't see when they walk past the notice, they don't see. So that is not a good state of mind. So the mind must be trained to be always mindful, to know what is happening, what we see, what we hear, right? And must be careful. Always be careful. See, all right. Heedful means being very careful, being very cautious, and that was displayed by the fox, right? Alert. So when we have these qualities of the mind, then you find that there will be less problems for you. Your life will be more peaceful, right? Less trouble. So you see how important it is to train the mind from young. From young. If you don't train the mind from young, when you grow old already, as I gave you the example, even the old ladies, aunties, uncles get cheated, right? And then they are not mindful. You find all sorts of things happen. They fall into the drain, right? Or they forget to do this, forget to do that. A lot of problems. So very important, having good attention. The mind is very alert, not dull and always sleepy. Of course, when it's time to sleep, you sleep. But in the daytime and so on, the mind must be alert to be always thinking carefully when you need to think. Of course, when you meditate, you don't think. Then must observe people, observe the environment, right? And be careful and mindful. So these are the three things I would like to discuss here. Very important. And they have Dharma in them, isn't it? So to conclude, so let us remind ourselves that wise ones are heedful, mindful, and kindful. They will then lead a life that's more peaceful. Now let us look at this. Now wise ones, opposite will be foolish ones, isn't it? Stupid ones. So you don't want to be foolish or stupid ones, isn't it? All of us want to be wise ones. A lot of benefits, isn't it? Wisdom is very important. So these sort of people, because of the good training of the mind, right, and learning through education, through Dhamma, so they are always very cautious and careful. They won't do the foolish things, the stupid things that will bring them much suffering. So they are careful. They are mindful. Mindful means to be aware, to know what is happening. And then this last word actually is not an English word, right? Kindful. It was coined by one very well-known monk, Ajahn Brahm, right? Because he wants it maybe to rhyme with mindful also. Kindful. Actually, it's just kind. We must be kind. But then you put that kindful, it sounds very cute, isn't it? Now, to be kind is very, very important. So you find, right, that if we practice the Dhamma, we have metta, isn't it? Loving kindness, to be kind. And then you have the other qualities, to be careful, to be mindful. Then in this way, your life will be more peaceful, less problems, isn't it? So those are the important things, right, that I would like to share with you. The story is short and simple, but the Dhamma is the important thing, and I have explained a lot, right, on the Dhamma. The story very fast. You can finish reading the story. So I hope that you have learned this important thing, right? The lessons and the Dhamma. So it's good if you can share with all your friends, right? So many ways you can do, isn't it? You can tell about the website, or you can tell them how to get into the YouTube, because you can see through the link of the YouTube, isn't it? That is very meritorious. So before we say sadhu, right? So I would like to thank all students. Actually, most suitable for the students and also for teachers, because they can use this to teach the other people, and also for parents and grandparents, they can teach it to the little ones. Even 3-4-year-old children can understand this already. And this is very important to inculcate, right? Important things when they are young. So we like to thank also, apart from the students following, thank the parents, grandparents, and all the teachers of, maybe there are some teachers from preschool, right? The teachers also in the Buddhist Sunday School. So I'd like to thank all of you, right, for being so patient to follow this presentation. And sometimes I tend to be a bit long-winded, I know. That's because these are very important things. So I want these things to go into the minds until that you actualize and you don't forget them. That's why I'm a bit long-winded. Sometimes I say, who chong hei. So my apologies for that. So let us conclude by saying sadhu 3 times, right? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all be well, happy, peaceful, and healthy. Take care.